Okay, now let's get started with the implementation. So I'm gonna do this with the Eclipse IDE. So before you start, make sure that you have the latest version of this IDE, so you can make use of the latest features. Not only for this IDE, in any IDEs you use, it's always good to have the latest version. And so I'm gonna create a project. So I'm going to select file and select the type of the project. So I'm gonna develop the web application, so I'm selecting dynamic web project. So here it's asked the name, so I'm going to give something, you can give any name. You can give you a project topic or anything. So I'm giving it as ITP sample and finish. So now once you have created the project, you can view it in the project explorer. So here it is, the ITP sample, and I'm going to explore it, and there are two main subfolders that you are going to work with, the Java resources and the web content. So in the web content, this is actually going to consist the front end part. So you are gonna implement your design in this web content folder. The HTML, CSS, JS all are going to be in this web content folder, and this Java resources, you are gonna implement your backend part here. So these two are mainly going to be used. So now we have all these things set and ready to go, but before that we have to decide the structure of our application, structure of the implementation. I think in the previous semester you have learned MVC structure. It's a kind of a design pattern that we use in such kind of implementation. So I hope you all remember that. If not, better you recall it by referring it again. So I'm going to use it here as well. So using such kind of design patterns help us in breaking down things, and it guides us to follow a template. So it's always good to follow such things, and it's helpful for us as well. So I'm gonna use MVC architecture here. So now to follow the MVC architecture, I'm gonna create a few packages in this SRC folder. So MVC, of course you know, M for model, V for view, C for controller. So view is what this web content represents, the user interface, and the model is what the entities in the database, and the controller is the one, it's a middleman between the model and the view. So it passes the values between them. So I'm gonna create packages for the model and controller parts. So model, controller. So in this controller, it has to follow a few functions to manipulate values between view and model. So to define those functions, I'm gonna have another package as well. So I'm going to name it as service, and at last I'm gonna have another package named util. This will consist of the DB connection. Okay, now so I'm going to implement the UI part now. So here the pages we design, the user interfaces are going to be included in the web content. So I'm gonna use JSP file for the page to design the pages. So here is an important thing is the naming of these JSP files. So since you are going to use many you may have to use many pages in your project, maybe more than 50 sometimes, so it's about to your scope, so it's always a good practice to name your JSP files something related with the purpose of the interface that you are going to design. So if you take a look at my app, I have shown you in earlier video, there are 4 interfaces, one for to register the student, another one for to display the all students details, and another one to display a particular student's detail, and the last one for the report generation. So the first UI, so its main function is it's adding a detail to the database. It's adding a student detail to the database. So I'm going to name it as add student. So next time when I have a look at the list of JSP pages I have created, if I see this add student.jsp, then okay, I can understand that it's the one I have designed for adding student detail. The same goes to when another person sees your project, so they also can understand it. So I am giving it a name as add student. So it's created. Before making the design, I'm going to create other pages as well. Create a JSP file. So next one is it's going to display the all students details, so it's going to list all the students, so I'm going to name it as list student. And another one is so that will retrieve and display a particular student's details. So it's getting a particular student's details, so I am naming it as get student. And the last one is for report generation, so I'm not gonna do that now, so I'll keep that for later. So for now we are going to look at these 3 pages only: add student, list student, and get student.